Thank you for tuning in to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast, a no judgment zone podcast that covers lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. Even though KC doesn't watch sports, but these are minor details. By the way, he reads tarot cards too. Yes, I really mean it. He reads tarot cards too. And now, the host you've tuned in for, KC Phoenix.
Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC show. I am doing the reading for Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, of course, you are the first sign up for the December tarot energy reading. Now, this reading will be different from some of the readings that I've done before because I decided to make this a little bit shorter because obviously I have a lot of other stuff on my plate. But I wanted to do a December reading. Also, the 2022 readings are already up on the podcast. I plan to start uploading them to YouTube, hopefully in the very near future. However, before I go any further, kirwkc.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. I'm using the Osset Gypsy tarot deck. I'm using the African Goddess Rising Oracle deck. I'm using the Under the Roses deck. And I'm using two customized tarot decks that I created. And I plan on pulling one card from each deck. So that will be your reading for December. All right, so let's go ahead and get the energy right quick. See what's going on with you for Sagittarius and also for the African Goddess Oracle deck. I am new to this deck, so some of the names, if I mispronounce them, don't hold it against me as well. So I'm going to take one of the Oracle cards right quick and see what we have. What's the December energy for Sagittarius? Which, by the way, Sagittarius, you had a very, very nice 2022 reading. So, just want to throw that out there. Not that you have any bad readings anyway. Thank you. Not that you have any bad readings anyway. But it was a really, really nice reading. Interesting. Okay, let me go ahead and take some from the Under the Roses deck. Take a card. Energy for Sagittarius for December. Energy for Sagittarius for December. And I'm shuffling to the side here because obviously my laptop is in front of me and the cards are to my left. So, yeah. Energy for Sagittarius. May I have a card for Sagittarius, please? Thank you. Interesting. Okay. And let me use one of my custom situations. Let's see what's going on with this one. I have one card for Sagittarius. Woo! Thank you. Actually, two cards came out, I think. Yeah, two. Okay, so I'm going to have to take two cards. They came out with this deck. Let me take one from my other deck. You get to listen to me shuffle throughout the entire process. So, at least you know it's happening. May I have a card for Sagittarius, please, for December? May I have a card for Sagittarius? Thank you. What? 2 cards keep on. Sagittarius, this happened with both my decks. Don't be surprised if something happens in pairs in December, when December gets here. Like if one thing happens and then another thing happens. And doesn't necessarily have to be good or bad. It's just, don't be surprised if it happens in pairs. Let me take a card from my Gypsy Tarot deck. Because, yeah, with that happening, something just said, don't be surprised if something happens in pairs. 2. Right. May I have a card for Sagittarius, please? May I have a card for Sagittarius, please? All right, this feels... Yeah, it wants to come out. I'm taking that one. What is this? Okay, Sagittarius, there is a message coming in. Some of you, and I hate to say this, but I mean, the message is the message. Some of you might be receiving news about a relative that may have passed away, or someone in your orbit that may have passed away, but there may have been some type of inheritance involved, is what may have happened. The inheritance doesn't necessarily have to be money. The card that came out of the Gypsy Tarot deck is the Page of Pentacles, Page of Coins. And one thing that I'm picking up, because in the customized tarot decks, 2 cards came out of one, Pets and Obsessed. Something is saying to me that someone, for some of you, again, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it's not your story, don't try to make it fit. Someone might actually leave you a pet where you may receive a message, and it doesn't necessarily have to be related to someone passed away and then you got their pet. It could be that someone is moving away and they couldn't take their pet with them, and then you receive a call saying, hey, can you take my dog, or can you take my cat, or can you take my lizard, or whatever, what's the other, or a parakeet, whatever pets people keep these days. And you may receive a call about that. Something just said to me, pet sitting. Someone might be asking to pay you to pet sit. And yes, pet sitters do get paid. That is a profession, believe it or not. Someone might be asking you to pet sit. Going back to the obsessed, someone might be obsessed with their pet, and they will only trust their pet with certain people, and you're one of those people that they would trust their pet with. Going back to the Page of Pentacles, someone may be obsessed with money right now. They're waiting for more money to come in, a message of more money. That could be a situation too, as well. The 2 cards that came out of my other custom deck, it says city starts with a B, as in Bravo, and city starts with an I, as in Indianapolis. I'm just making up, names. But city starts with a B, and city starts with an I. So for those 2, you may be dealing with someone who is in one of those cities that starts with a B or with an I, or you may be moving to one of those cities. There may be a message coming from that city, going back to the pets thing. Someone may be moving to that city and they're like, hey, I need you to take my pet. Or, hey, I need to have you pet sit for me while I go to the city that starts with a B or the city that starts with an I. Or you could be the one going to the city that starts with a B or starts with an I, and you may need to pay somebody. You may need to send a message saying, hey, I need you to pet sit for me. That could be going on. Something just said to me as well that somebody might be relocating to a different city because someone is obsessed with them. So that is some of the energy that I'm picking up too. The reason that I said there may be an inheritance involved is because for the Under the Roses deck, Grave came out as well. I'm pulling up the words associated with it. So Grave, the lighting isn't that good right now because I'm videotaping this. The lighting isn't that good. But the words associated with it, it says transformation, renewal, ending, illness, loss, losses, misfortune, mourning, displeasure, death, unhappiness. So there could be some type of transformation going on. But like I said before, with the Page of Pentacles, I was thinking about some type of inheritance where someone may have passed away. That person could have lived in the city that starts with a B or the city that starts with an I. And then you're receiving a message that they passed away. And that's going on. Also, going back to the transformation part, that could be related back to the moving, where you're like, you know what? This environment isn't for me anymore. Let me move to a different environment and do that. Also, there could be some type of illness. I'm not really picking up illness on that. I mean, being obsessed with something could be considered an illness, but I'm not picking up a bad vibe, because even if it's death where someone has transitioned over to the other side, we all have to go at some point in time. We're not immortal. So I don't look at that as necessarily a bad thing. And also it could have been a situation where the person, they're in a better place now. Maybe they were suffering before. I don't know your situation. You know your situation better than I ever could. I'm just the person sitting here reading the energy and the cards. But if it is the case where someone has passed away, then there may be some type of inheritance. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about money either, because Pentacles are about the 3D. So it can be related to jobs, home, finances, whatever. Maybe someone has left a house to you. But again, I honestly feel for some of you, this may be a pet, where someone left a pet to someone is what I'm picking up. And that may be the message. All right. And then also for the African Goddess Rising Tarot, it is Jumbi, and it says mask. So let's read this and see what that is for the mask right quick. All right, Jumbi. Jumbies are the scary, shadowy, outworldly spirits and monsters of the Caribbean. Jumbi shadow guidance. Where is the lie? Get quiet to get clear. Put your hand on your heart. Now you are confused, or are you afraid? Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Embodiment. Show your true face. Wearing a mask blocks your vulnerability and blessings. If you are not wearing a mask, dare to reveal yourself. You are lying to others and to yourself. Wearing a mask is exhausting. Be you. If someone else is wearing a mask with you, you deserve clarity. Your relationship and connection is built on lies. The mask is a projection of your own. And then it says the declaration is, I am willing to remove the mask. So for this, I'm going to go back to the grave thing too, with transformation and the ending of something. I honestly feel with this card, with Jumbi, that you might need to clear the air with someone. And I think I'm going to title this that the air needs to be cleared. Obviously, I talked about inheritance, pets, and moving and other things. But the oracle message for this is the air needs to be cleared. And this may be a situation where you're wearing a mask or have worn a mask because you didn't want to rock the boat. You didn't want to deal with the situation. But now, this is saying that you might want to consider doing exactly that, where you need to let people see the real you and let people know how you feel. Now, this is not saying go out and be, just totally rude on what your feelings are. What it is saying is that don't be afraid to communicate how you actually feel about something. In other words, something just said to me, don't go along to get along. Don't do that. But when you do express yourself, I always tell people, do it with compassion and just be a little bit kind. And we're all guilty of this sometimes, even myself included, because sometimes my words can come out and it's like, wow, people get taken back for a second because it's so direct. And we have to remember that everyone is dealing with something in their life. Everyone is on their own journey. And it would behoove us to be mindful of that. Also, something is saying to me to tell you, don't be afraid to call someone to the mat for wearing a mask. If your spidey sense is going off that someone is not being forthcoming with you, then don't be afraid to bring that up. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I feel that you aren't giving me the whole picture, or I feel that you aren't telling me what is really on your mind. Talk to me and tell me what is really on your mind, and do that. So the message is time to clear the air is what this is. That's the overall message. The rest of the stuff are the things that I mentioned beforehand. The things about transformation, the things about a possible passing, the things about pet sitting or inheriting a pet or giving away a pet. Also being obsessed. Maybe there's an obsession with money as well. Something just said to me, keeping up appearances too. Going back to the mask thing. Somebody might be trying to keep up appearances, whether it's you or whether it's someone in your orbit, where they want to give this impression that they have all of this money when really they don't. So, and you may want to have a conversation with that person. And something just said to me that for some of you, that's the case. The reason they're doing that is because they feel insecure around you. And this doesn't have to be, toss the card. This doesn't have to be like a romance type thing. It can be a friendship or work relationship or whatever. Any type of relationship. I feel that someone, if they're putting up this front, wearing this mask, that, they're doing so well, they're trying to show up like a King of Pentacles and really they're a Page of Pentacles, is because they feel insecure around you. So I feel that's going on. Or vice versa, you may be doing it because you feel insecure around them. But this overall message is saying it's time to take off the mask, is what it's time to do. Whether you're wearing the mask, whether they're wearing the mask, or whether everyone's wearing the mask, it's time to clear the air and show the real you, is what this is. So that is your message for December. kirwkc.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, Sagittarius, be blessed.